All right, now, admittedly, I will not have the time starting tonight to dedicate to watching wrestling that I normally would, but I'm excited to announce that for fans in Canada, you will get to see AEW on TSN if you don't already know, which you should, because AEW put out a big press release and TSN put out a press release as well. And I've already set my PVR to record it for me every week. So here's the thing, and I'll explain this to people who are saying, "Oh, hey, like AEW is going to be any better? What is AEW going to do?" Listen, competition always makes programs better. I expect this to both improve WWE's programming and AEW's as they compete with one another. WWE's programming has already shown signs of improvement since AEW announced they were going to go live every week starting now. Late August, the programming seemed to get a little bit better. Now, there's some storylines going on in WWE which are just sensationalistic and ridiculous, but that may very well be Paul Heyman's influence on things too. Um, I would expect AEW to put on a good show. They're supposed to make it so wins and losses matter. They're going to track everybody's record so that people aren't just given random title shots. They won't just walk into the ring and go, I need a shot at your title. And the guy goes, all right, well, thanks. You get it. That's not supposed to happen. And the other thing that's not supposed to happen in the pay-per-views is they're promising basically a clean finish to every match. And again, that every match matters. So that's kind of a big deal. And it's something that is ambitious, and not only that, but they're offering money to these guys that they weren't getting in WWE. So there's billionaire money behind them, and we know from back in WCW days, when WCW started out, yeah, they were way behind WWE, and their programming was mostly crap. And then they got Hogan, they got, obviously Nash and Hall came over later, and all of a sudden the NWO happens, a storyline which was taken from Japan. Japan had the NWO before WCW did, but it just blew up. And then, of course, they overdid it and overdid it and overdid it. But in the process of that and in that war, we got some tremendous angles in WWE. We got some amazing matches, and we saw wrestling change. The whole business changed, and it became the Attitude Era, which made Stone Cold and The Rock the biggest names in the history of wrestling. And, now we're looking at a situation where AEW will be the first major money-backed organization on TV. They're on TSN up here, which is the, depending on who you ask, they're the best network for sports in Canada, but they're going to be up against Sportsnet. So this is going to be really interesting and see how things work, because Sportsnet, as far as I know, still isn't carrying NXT, but you have to think eventually Sportsnet will be carrying NXT, and they'll be up against each other. So I'll record it. I'm going to be watching hockey rather than wrestling, but I will watch the wrestling after all the hockey's done and after I've done my review of tonight's games. And I'm excited. I'm excited because it's something new. It's seeing different wrestlers. It's seeing a different storyline. It's seeing a different way of presenting things. It's something that's different, and we haven't had that. And I apologize to Impact Wrestling / TNA. They had some good years in there. They've produced some amazing wrestlers and feuds. But I never really bought into them as being any sort of a threat to WWE, even when they tried going live on Mondays. And that was a disaster. And there have been others that have been close. ROH has had its moments. The NWA is still out there. There are other companies, and of course people will mention New Japan. And New Japan has some amazing matches and amazing stuff, but they're never going to be a company that has a big TV contract in the U.S. AAA out of Mexico as well. There's some amazing matches and wrestlers that go on there. They will never, or CMLL, I'm thinking of. They will never have that presence on the American side when it comes to TV. AEW will. So here I'm hoping, and there's even rumors that Jack Swagger could turn up tonight, and I'm kind of thinking that would make a lot of sense. Their roster is made up of a lot of smaller guys. Swagger's a big dude, so when you put in the fact that he does have an MMA background now, he has some legit tough guy criteria there. It could be interesting to see how they use him. Then you could just use his real name, which is Jake Hager, which sounds better than Jack Swagger anyways. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do and how things turn out. But again, um, I don't think it has to be a one or the other proposition. The funny thing is, in the late '90s, when WWE was getting killed in the ratings, I couldn't stand WCW. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the NWO. I would watch Chris Jericho before he came over. I would watch the cruiserweight division, where you had guys like Malenko and Guerrero. But I could not care less about the main event scene. I didn't care about Roddy Piper and Randy Savage and all these old wrestlers. And all I really wanted to watch was the young, up and coming, really talented, fast wrestlers and the stuff they were doing nobody else was, which included guys like Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrero. So that is kind of why I'm excited about what's going on now as well. I can still, tune in for 10 minutes of Raw, 20 minutes of SmackDown, see what's going on with certain wrestlers that I like. And if AEW isn't as good as WWE, fine. That's fine too, because again, it will force WWE to create a better product. It is better for everybody to have competition. And it means that for wrestlers, they will be very well compensated. The wrestlers who are signing contracts right now, being talked into staying in WWE rather than going free agent, you better believe they're likely getting more money than they would have otherwise, because WWE doesn't want to risk losing them to AEW. You look at the OC, you look at rumors are, I think the Revival signed an extension as well. All of a sudden they're tag champs. And there are others who have signed longer deals and extensions with WWE, and they get kind of a push on TV. And you have to think there's likely more money being thrown at them because WWE doesn't want them going to the competition. We all remember, I remember, when Lex Luger was in WWE, had been on their pay-per-view on Sunday, and Monday night he was on Nitro. That's why Vince is terrified of somebody switching, because as soon as that happens, that a wrestler gets written off WWE TV, or WWE doesn't even realize he's not going to re-up. And that was the case with Luger. They thought they had a contract worked out with him, and in reality he had already agreed to go work for Bischoff. They don't want to risk that again. So that's where the 90-day non-compete clause comes in. That's where the paranoia comes in. For Vince, he doesn't forget that 20 years ago, there was a lot of skullduggery on both sides, and he wants to make sure he's doing it first. It's going to be an interesting time. So let me know, will you be watching AEW tonight and in upcoming weeks? What are you excited to see? What are you not excited to see? And do you think this is going to make WWE a better product, as I do? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.